It's that time of the year again. It's time for an updated full tutorial on how to set up a Discord server. This video will show you how to set up your entire Discord server from channels and roles, permissions, setting up community settings, and even getting a utility bot added into the server and configuring it to get you started out with a really good bot. A few quick things and then we'll dive into it though. If you're the type of person who doesn't want to do this yourself and would rather have someone else set up the entire server for you, I actually have my own Fiverr gig where I'll set up any server that you have in mind, no matter what niche you're in. I've personally helped hundreds of different people get amazing Discord servers set up for their communities already. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'll have my Fiverr link down in the description. Definitely reach out to me over there. I would love to help get any server you have in mind set up for you. Secondly, I want to give a really big shout out to the amazing sponsor of this video, WAP. We'll talk about them a little later in the video. Lastly, I've been working on growing my Discord server a lot, and we've been implementing a lot of different changes over the last few months. We even have a section dedicated to strictly Discord help where you can jump in, ask any Discord questions, and me or someone else can try to help you out. So be sure to join via the link in the description. If this video helps you in any way, be sure to drop a like so it helps spread it to others, and consider subscribing so you can stay up to date on all my future Discord content. I also do a lot of gaming streams over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/gesture. If you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it as well. That's enough yapping though. Let's jump in. This is how to create a Discord server in 2024. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is obviously we're going to create the Discord server. So the way we're going to go to do this is we're going to open Discord, and on the left side of your screen, if you're not in a lot of servers, this button is probably going to be up towards the top. If you're in a lot of servers like me, you may have to scroll down for it. We're going to click the add a server button. Once you click that, you're going to be given a pop-up where you can start with a template or you can create your own. I'm going to create my own just to show you guys a pure from scratch creation. So we're going to create our own. We're going to do for a club and community. I'm going to model this based off how I've done it over the last few years. It's going to be what I would do my personal server as a community for my YouTube channel. So we're going to do club and community, and then we're now going to have the opportunity to go ahead and name the server as well as give it a server icon picture. So we're just going to name it Gestures YouTube Hangout, and then I just threw on my logo for the picture. And after we do that, we're going to click create, and we will now have our brand new Discord server. So now we're able to dive in and start fully creating this thing. If you guys have already done part of this, I'm going to have everything timestamped at the bottom. So if you want to skip to certain sections, you can. But the first thing we're going to start off with is we're going to go ahead and create some categories and some channels. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So it's going to start you off with two categories. If you aren't sure what categories are, it's kind of like these folders here that all your channels will be in. We have a text channels category and then a voice channels category. What we're going to do first is go ahead and create a couple new categories. So I'm going to create a new category by right clicking over here in the open area and then clicking create category. And now I have the ability to name the category. The first one, I'm going to name it as a welcome category. So if I could spell correctly, we're going to type in welcome, and then we can click create category. We're going to create a couple more categories. I want one to kind of have all, since this is going to be a server for my content, I kind of want to have a category for all of my social media content to go into. So I have YouTube, my Twitch streams, all that good stuff. I want to have all that to be able to be shared into one category. So we're going to create another category, and this one we're going to just call gesture. We're going to create that, and then we're going to create one more. This one's going to be a private category for our moderators and our admins. So we're going to create one called mod admin, and we'll set the permissions on it later. Right now, I just wanted to go ahead and create the categories. That way we can go ahead and get channels added into them easily. So we'll create that last category, and now we've got 5. We have the text channels, voice channels, welcome, gesture, and mod admin. Okay, so now we've got the categories set up. We can start creating some new channels inside of them. So we're going to start with the welcome category. Since we have the category set up already, we can create channels directly inside them by just hovering over the plus button and clicking create channel. So we're going to do that, and we're going to create a few channels here in the welcome category. The first channel that we're going to create is going to be called welcome. So we're going to type in the name of the channel, and then we'll be able to click create. The next one we're going to create in the welcome category is going to be a channel called rules. This is where our rules, server rules, are going to go. We're going to create the channel, and then we're also going to create one more. We're going to create one called announcements. Okay, so now we've got 3 channels inside the welcome category. What I'm going to do is go ahead and pause the video and fill out some other channels inside the other categories, and then we'll pick it back up. Okay, so if you want to pause the video and copy some of these channels to go ahead and get your server filled out, you are more than welcome to. Something I do want to note, you guys might notice the voice channels have a capital G while all the other ones don't. This is actually something that just is the way how Discord works. Text channels cannot have capital letters, and if you input a space, you're also going to get this little hyphen instead of just having a empty space, versus a voice channel will let you do capital letters, and you can also do a space without getting that hyphen. I'm going to show you guys later a workaround to kind of make your channels look really neat, but first we're just going to get everything created. Okay, so we've got everything created. We're going to do a little of reorganization. We're going to drag the welcome category up to the top, and we're going to drag the gesture category up. I just like to have a flow to where the welcome category is at the top, my section is underneath that, and then we have the community chatting section, voice channels, and then at the bottom is going to be the locked area for moderators and admins. So we're looking pretty good so far. We've got all of our channels made. We've got our categories made. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into roles and start creating some roles for the server, and then we're going to set some permissions for those roles. But before we do that, I want to throw it back to the sponsor of this video, WAP. WAP is a digital marketplace that gives you the ability to monetize your Discord server. You get to set up your own digital storefront where people can purchase memberships to your Discord server or other products that you want to sell. With the recent release of WAP 3.0, they've introduced something new called apps. One of the really cool things you can do with this is you can sell your own custom course directly on WAP. And that's not even the best part. WAP has the best revenue split in the industry when it comes to this at 97.3. So you get to keep a whopping 97% of your revenue, and there's no pun intended there. But all jokes aside, you can check out WAP and start getting your own store set up via my link in the description, as well as I'll also include a full video overview on walking you through how to set up a WAP store if you're a little confused. WAP has been an amazing partner of this channel over the last couple years, so a really big thank you to them for deciding to partner up for this video. Now, let's get back into the tutorial. So where we're gonna go to do this is we're gonna go to the top left where it says our server name, and we're gonna click that, and we're gonna get a drop-down box with a bunch of different options. The one we're going to be using is server settings. This is going to take you into the back end of your server where you can edit everything about it. Where we're going to go is we're going to go to the second option up here on the top left that's called roles, and then we're going to create a new role right here. So I'm going to give us a few roles. We're going to have a member role that's kind of just going to be a blanket role just to give users some color when they join. We're going to have a moderator role. We're going to have a role for our bots, and then we're also going to have an administrator role. So the member role, we will just title member, and we're going to go through the settings from from top to bottom. There's some default colors here you can give the role if you don't really care to be super picky with it and you just want to click a default color. You can do that here, or if you want to be really precise, you can go to custom color. You can input a hex code if you already have one that you want to use, or you can just drag the color here and you can pick any color that you want and it'll update it for you. So we'll just go with a light blue teal color for the member role. Underneath that, we're going to have display role members separately from online members. If you guys are wondering what that is, it basically means if you've ever been in a Discord server and on the right side, it has everyone listed out by what role they're in. That's basically what it says. Do you want them to be listed out by the specific role that they have? Or do you just want them all to be under the status of online and then have the color of that role, but not actually be specifically listed under it on the member list? I prefer to turn this on for all settings. It really makes the server look really neat and organized when it comes to the member list on the right side. So we're going to turn that on. And then at the last setting we have is allow anyone to mention this role. That basically means that anyone in your server can ping this role and send a notification to it. We obviously don't want to turn that on. We only want our moderators and our admins to be able to do that. Otherwise, you would have anyone in the server being able to just spam ping any role that they want. So always keep this setting off unless it's for a higher level role that you want to be able to have the ability to do that. So we're going to save our changes, and I'm going to go through and create the other 3 roles that I just mentioned, and then we're going to jump into the permissions for each role. Okay, so I've got 3 new roles created. We have the bot role, we have the moderator role, and the admin role. And I turned on display role members separately from online on all of these extra roles I just created. Something I didn't mention too, you're also going to see this @everyone role. This is the role that's basically just a default role for anyone in the server. Everyone's going to have this. It's not an actual role that they have. It just means it just applies to everyone in your server. So when it comes to editing permissions, we're going to start with editing the permissions for @everyone. So for time's sake, I'm not going to touch on every single one of these permissions. Rather, I'm just going to show you the ones that I would typically leave on for a community server like this. So obviously we want everyone to be able to view channels in the server. Create expressions lets them send custom emojis, stickers, and such. We're going to leave that on. Scrolling down a little bit, we have the ability to create an invite to the server. You might want to turn this off depending. Some people will turn this off and have a channel where they have an invite listed and everyone just uses that one invite. You can do that if you want. We have change nickname, which allows members to change the nickname, which is basically the display name of their account in the server. It might be a good idea to turn this off just so you don't have people using like vulgar nicknames or anything. So use your own discretion if you want to turn that off or on. I'm going to leave it on here. Then we're going to have text channel permissions. This is all the basic permissions they'll be able to do inside a text channel. We're going to leave all of these top ones on that allow them to send messages. What we are going to turn off is the ability for them to embed links. So they can share a link, but it won't show a big embed that gives a bunch of like information and stuff about the link. This can help if they're sharing like a graphic or vulgar links or something, and it shows a bunch of like information that you don't want people to see. We're going to go ahead and turn that off. We'll let them be able to attach files, so things like pictures and such. We'll let them be able to add reactions to messages, external emojis, external stickers. What we are going to turn off is make sure that you turn this off. We're going to disable the ability to @ everyone and @ here. Basically what that means is if you keep this turned on, that means anyone in your server can do what's called an @ everyone ping, which basically sends a notification to every single member in the server. This is a permission you want to make sure that you turn off for all roles except maybe your moderator role and then your admin role. Otherwise, you will have people spamming this constantly. Scrolling down through the rest, everything else is pretty much good except create events. We're going to want to turn that off. We don't want them to be able to create server events. We want to limit that to only our moderators. So we're going to turn that off, and then everything else should be good. We can save our changes. Again, use your own discretion. If you want to change some of these for your own server to fit your needs better, you are more than welcome to. Next up, we have our member role. I'm not going to give the member role any special permissions. Again, this is just a role to be able to give users a little bit of color when they join the chat and to be able to specify to list them underneath an actual role instead of just online. So we're not going to give any special permissions to that. Next, we're going to jump up to the bot role. What we're going to do for this role is we're actually going to give it the administrator permission. Now, if you do this, you want to make sure you do not give the bot role out to any member or to any bots that you don't trust. So pretty much any bots that aren't verified and that don't have a large amount of users using them, because this administrator permission gives anyone with this role full access to the server, so they can do everything that you can do besides delete the server or kick you out. The reason I give the bot role this permission is it just streamlines the process of when you add new bots to the server. You don't have to go through and make sure they have the ability to message in all channels, give out roles to people and all that jazz. It just kind of streamlines the whole process. So as long as you're not giving this role out to bots that you don't know are verified, then it's not really a big problem. So we're going to toggle that on and we're going to save changes. We're also going to do the same thing for the admin role. We're going to click up to the admin role while we're down here. We're going to toggle that on and we're going to save changes. Again, with the administrator role, make sure you do not give this out to anyone that you do not have full trust in, because they'll be able to do everything you can do besides delete the server. So lastly, we're going to jump up to the moderator role. The purpose of this role is just to be a server upkeep role. So the only permissions that we're going to add to this one is we're going to add the ability for them to kick, ban, and timeout members. We're going to let them manage nicknames in case someone changes their nickname to something bad. And then we're also going to give them the ability to delete messages. So if we scroll down a little bit, we'll have managed messages. We'll turn that on and we'll save changes. So now we've created roles in our server and we've also set for permissions for all of the roles. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go out of our server settings and I'm going to teach you how to set up permissions for certain categories and channels. Okay, so let's dive into our channel specific permissions. So we already set up our role permissions, but now we're going to set up permissions that are specific to each channel. The main thing we're going to be doing here is setting up sections that are read only. So take my gesture section, for example, where I'm going to be sharing my videos and my streams. I obviously don't want random members to come in here and send a bunch of messages and clutter it up, right? So we need to set up permissions for these channels specifically to where members can't come in and send messages and only me and bots can do that. And then the mod admin section, for example, we need to make sure that only moderators and admins can see this and not everyone else. So there's two ways you can do this. You can hover over a channel and click the settings icon, and then you'll have a permissions tab up here on the left, and you can set your permissions for each individual channel. Now, if you have a category like me, like this gesture category, for example, where every channel that I'm going to have in this category is going to have the same set of permissions, Instead of doing it for each individual channel, you can actually set the permissions for the entire category so it's synced all the way across. It's a really good idea to do it this way because it helps future-proof that category for you. So if I was to create a new channel in here later for, say, my Instagram post, right? I create this channel, I wouldn't have to go in and set permissions on this Instagram channel again. It would automatically adopt the permissions that I already set up on the category. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna right-click the category instead of the channel, and we're gonna press Edit Category. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to Permissions tab on the top left, and now we're gonna set this one up to where, like I mentioned earlier, only I can message there. Everyone can see it, but not everyone can message there. Only I can do that. So all we're gonna do is for this @everyone, you don't have to go through and disable like a bunch of stuff. We're literally just going to do @everyone, and we're gonna turn off the ability for them to send messages, and that's all we have to do. Since I'm the owner of the server, and if I ever needed my admins to message in there, admins have full control and bypass all permissions. So they're automatically going to have the ability to message in there, even if they're not listed specifically on here with the ability to do it, if that makes sense. So for @everyone, we turn off the ability for them to send messages, we save changes, and that's all we have to do for that category. So now if we were to jump into the videos channel, we go to edit the channel and we look at the permissions for this channel. At the top, it will say permissions are synced with the category. And I didn't change the permissions for the channel, but since it's synced with the category, it automatically makes it to where whatever's set on that category, it's set on the channel. So we're gonna do the same thing for the welcome category. We're gonna right click, edit the category, go to permissions, go to @everyone. We're gonna turn off the ability for them to send messages as well. We're gonna save our changes, and then we're gonna press escape. Now, one that we're gonna do a little bit differently is the mod and admin section. So the one we're gonna do a little bit differently is the moderator admin section. We're still gonna come in here and right click the category, and we're gonna set the permissions on the category, but we're gonna have to do a little more to make it to where only to where not everyone can see it, but the moderator specifically can see it. Because remember, the moderator role does not have full access like the admin role does. So we're gonna have to give it those special permissions. So we're gonna come in here to the @everyone role, and we're gonna make it where @everyone cannot view the channel. After we do that, we're gonna click the plus button, and we're gonna find our moderator role. We're gonna add the moderator role to our advanced permissions here, and we're gonna give the moderator role the ability to view the channels. And we're gonna click Save Changes. Now up here at the top, you'll see who can access this category. The moderator role has been added in. So we'll go back out to the main screen, and if you ever set your permissions up to where only a specific role or user can see that channel, you're gonna get this little lock symbol over it, and that's how you'll know it's set up properly. Now the admin channel, we're gonna have to go in and edit the permissions to get them unsynced with the category, because this is gonna be a channel that the moderators cannot see, only the admins can see. So we're gonna click the settings button on edit channel for admin. We're gonna go to the permissions, and we're gonna scroll down. We're gonna click on moderator, and we're gonna turn off the ability for the moderators to view that channel. We're gonna save our changes, and now up here at the top, you can see only admins can be able to see that. Moderators can no longer see that specific channel. And you'll notice up here at the very top, it says permissions are not synced with category. If we ever wanted to change it, all we have to do is come up here and click sync now and click sync permissions, and it'll turn it back on to whatever the category is set as. So in this case, the moderators can view the channel. So that's how you do permissions, both on the category side of things, and also with the admin channel, I showed you how to do it on an individual channel basis. I feel like we're making some pretty good progress here. Let's keep it rolling. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna jump back into our server settings, and we're actually gonna set the server up as a community server. A community server basically gives you access to some extra features like server onboarding that I'm gonna discuss about in just a little bit. You get access to server discovery to help people find your server. You get access to server insights, and you just get some other tips and tools. If you're building a server that's not meant for just a very small friend group, I highly recommend turning this on. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna click get started right here. We're gonna make sure there's some things you're gonna have to turn on. So we're gonna have to turn on the where users have to have a verified email on their account, and also the ability for Discord to scan media content from all members. Once you check those, click the next. Now it's going to ask us, do we have what channel is going to be dedicated rules channel, and what's going to be a dedicated community updates channel. If you don't already have a rules channel created, you can use the option for the server to create one for you. We already have one created, so we're gonna find our rules channel here and we're gonna select that one. For community updates, this isn't something you want just everyone in your server to see. This is more built for just admins and moderators in your server. So we're gonna click on this and we're gonna scroll down and find our moderator channel. We're gonna click that and then we're gonna click next. Now it's telling us to make sure that we turn off all risky permissions, which basically means things like the administrator permission or the ability for people to mention at everyone, like I mentioned earlier. And one that I apparently forgot to turn off here, which is a good thing to set this up. It'll help you kind of backtrack and catch things if you missed it. Right now we have it set to where members can create emojis, and obviously we don't want that. So this is a really good way to be able to check yourself to make sure you have all of the risky permissions turned off. So that whenever we finish the setup, it'll automatically disable this create emoji permission for us. We're gonna click we agree and understand, and we're gonna click finish setup. And once you do that, you're gonna instantly get access to a few new things. You have the overview channel for your community tab, which basically lets you change the stuff that we just set up, the dedicated channels. You're gonna have server insights, which you have to wait a little bit to be able to actually see analytics, but it gives you a cool insight on different analytics inside your Discord server. And then once you qualify for the discovery feature, you'll have the server discovery feature. Now, a really cool feature I briefly mentioned about a few minutes ago is server onboarding. This unfortunately takes a little bit of time to set up, and it would make this video way too long, so I can't cover it in this, but I did just upload a couple weeks ago a brand new video covering how to set this entire feature up. So I'm gonna have that link down in the description for you guys that wanna go check that out. I highly recommend checking out this feature. It's a really, really cool and unique feature to Discord. So I'll have that down in the description for you guys to be able to go check out. So we've got a pretty good foundation going for the server so far. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a really cool utility bot added into the server, and we're gonna set up a few essential features that you'll want to have for your Discord. I'm gonna run a little side-by-side screen right here so you guys can see what I'm doing on the bot side of things and in the Discord side of things. The bot that I'm gonna be showing you guys today is called Sapphire. I've covered this a lot on my channel, and I have a full video covering a lot of its features in their entirety. I'll link that in the description as well if you wanna check that out. I'm only gonna go over a few of the absolute essentials in this. So if you want to see more that it has to offer, like auto moderation and other stuff like that, you'll want to check that video out. Lots of links are going to be in the description. I'm also going to have the link to Sapphire, which is Saf with 2 P's .xyz down in the description for you guys. I feel like I'm saying that way too much, but we're going to click add to Discord once we're on this page. So we're going to search for our server. We're going to find gestures, YouTube Hangout. We're going to click continue. We're gonna give it all these permissions and we're gonna click authorize. Once you authorize that, the bot will be added into your server and you'll be greeted with the dashboard of Sapphire. Now, the reason I like and recommend this bot to a lot of people is because they offer pretty much every essential feature that you would need to operate your Discord server, but it's all entirely free and there's no premium charge to it. The only premium charge is if you want to have a custom bot token to make the bot look like your own custom bot, but that's it. Everything else is free to use and unlimited to use. So there's going to be a few things we do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a welcome message with the bot. This will basically just every time someone joins, it'll send a message to them in the server. Kind of like if you look at my server, it just greets them with the basic greeting and welcomes them into the server. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna go to the left side bar over here and we're gonna go to welcome messages. Now, if you wanna set up one when people leave the server, when someone boosts the server, or whenever someone gets a role, then you can do those as well. The only one we're gonna do right now is when someone joins the server. So we're gonna click on that. And we're gonna add a new message by clicking right here. The next step is it's gonna ask us what channel do we want that message to go to. We're gonna say we want it to go to the welcome channel, and we're gonna continue styling the message. Now, by default, it's just gonna say welcome. It's gonna tag the user, and then it's gonna say to whatever your server name is. If you want to edit this message at all, you can come over here to the edit tab. You can type in whatever you want right here, or you can even turn it into an embed message if you would rather have that. I'm just gonna leave it to look like the default. There is one thing we're gonna do to it. Before we save our changes, we're gonna press the X right here because we like the way that looks. We're gonna come down to dynamic images and we're going to click use in message. And then we're gonna select our message one that we just set up. We're gonna click to select this slot right here. We're gonna go back to messages. Now, what this is basically gonna do, we're gonna save our changes. This is basically gonna give us kind of like a little graphic like you just saw in my server right here. It's gonna give us a little graphic for whenever users join the server. they're not going to it's not going to have just the welcome message. It's also going to have this little graphic displayed underneath just to add a little bit of flair and personality to it. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up the bot to be able to give out the member role to people whenever they join the server. Remember, the member role is just a blanket role that doesn't have any special permissions, but we can automatically give it to everyone that joins the server with Sapphire. So we're going to go to the join roles tab over here, and then right here on the top left, we're going to add a new role, and we're just going to select our member role, and then we're going to save our changes. And that's all we have to do there. There's two more things I want to set up here. I want to show you guys how to set up social notifications, since this is a server built for my YouTube community. I'm going to show you guys how to set up YouTube notifications. So we're going to come to the social notifications tab. We're going to hover over YouTube. We're going to click setup. It's going to ask you to enter a YouTube channel's @handle or ID. So we should just be able to type gesture, and it should find our channel. We'll see my profile picture popped up right there. So we're going to click continue. Now it's going to ask us what channel do we want the notifications to be sent to. We're going to select the videos channel. After that, it'll say it's successfully added the YouTube channel. Now we want to customize it a little bit more, because all that's going to do is literally the bot will just post the link to your channel and that's it. We want to customize the message a little bit. So we're going to click open additional settings. And then this is where you can set up if you have a ping role. For instance, if you want it to @ everyone, you could select that for that to be the role that it pings. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to customize the message. So we're going to come down here and toggle on the use custom message, and we're going to open the message editor. By default, it's going to give you an embed. Basically, it's going to embed the YouTube video for you, but we're going to add a little custom message up here so it doesn't just put @ everyone and that's it. What we're going to do is we're going to have it do the ping role, which is @ everyone. And then I'm going to type out a little message here. So we're not going to get too crazy with it. All I want to do is whenever people get the notification, I want them to actually see a message. So we're just going to put we're just going to have the ping roles there, and we're going to put gesture just uploaded a new video to YouTube. If we preview that, we can now see that this is what it's going to look like. That looks a lot better than them just getting a ping and not knowing what it's for. They'll actually have a message to go along with it. So we save our changes there, and we're going to X out of that. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to set up an embedded message for our server rules. Basically, this is going to let us display the rules for our server in a very neat and professional way. So this, for example, this is my server. We can just lay it out very neatly instead of it just being a long message that's sent from me. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to come up to the messages tab here. And then whenever it loads, we're going to click the template button, and we're going to click create new template. It's going to give you a pop-up for asking for a name for the template. We're just going to name this rules. Once you press enter, you'll be given a new pop-up where you can edit the message. So we're going to come to the edit tab. We're going to delete all of this because it's just the blank template text. We're going to click plus embed so we can do this as an embed message. And what we're going to do is we're just going to literally name this server rules. And then we're going to come down to the description. I already have my rules. This is a rules template I use for a lot of my clients on Fiverr. I already have this, I had this copied to my clipboard already, so I just pasted it. We're going to preview it so we can see what it looks like here. So we scroll down, it looks very nice and clean. We're going to go to the use tab, and this is where we can actually send the message into the server. So it's going to ask us right here, what channel do we want to send this message to? We'll click this, and we're going to select our rules channel. All we have to do is click send message, and then make sure we save our changes. And if we come back into Discord over here, we'll now have a new message in the rules channel that is from the bot. It's exactly what we just set up on the Sapphire dashboard. So that's basically all of the essential functions that you'll need from Sapphire just to get your Discord server started. If you want to go a little further with it, like I said, I'll have a video down in the description. I'll have a lot of videos linked so you guys can go check out things like auto moderation, level systems, all that good stuff to add even more features into your server. Okay, so we've covered over how to get the Discord server set up, how to set up your channels and categories along with roles and permissions for both the roles and the channels and categories. We've got a bot set up in the server. Something I didn't show you guys. We want to go ahead and give the bot role. So if we just left click on it right here, we'll be able to click the plus button down here and add the bot role to it. And now the bot will have the actual bot role, and it'll be listed over here on the right side underneath that role. One last thing I want to show you guys is how to really clean up and tidy up the server with some nice channel flair. So this already looks really clean as is, but we can take it a step further and add a little bit of flair to it, as I like to say. I'm going to have this site called coolsymbol.com linked down in the description. It basically has a ton of really cool and unique character symbols that you can use to really customize the way that your channel layout looks. I already have a couple that I'm going to be using, and you can find those in the description. But if you want to browse through hundreds of different ones that you have the ability to use, I'll have this site linked for you as well. So we're going to right click and we're going to do our categories first. Basically, we're going to lay them out to kind of look like this. It's not a lot, but it just gives them a nice little touch. So we're gonna right click, we're gonna edit the category. I'm gonna paste the symbols that I already have. And then there's a way that you can add emojis. You'll see there's no emoji button like there is down here at the bottom right. You can click that and you can send any emojis that you want. Whenever you're editing a category or a channel, you don't have the ability to do that, but there is a workaround. Now, if you're on Mac OS, I'm not sure if you can do this or how to even do it, but if you're on Windows, you can hold down the Windows key and press the period key. If you're in the UK or overseas, you may call it something different instead of a period key and maybe call it a dot key. It's basically the dot that you put at the end of a sentence. You can press that and you'll get an emoji keyboard that pops up that lets you use any emoji under the moon. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna find different emojis that we wanna use that correlates with the category name or the channel name. So in this case, the wave hand for welcome is perfect. So we'll put that in, we'll save it, and we'll go out, and that just looks a lot cleaner. And a step further that we can take it is we can do the same thing for the channels, but we're not gonna add as much flair as we did. We're gonna take out these extra symbols beforehand, and we're gonna hold down the Windows key and press the period key again. We'll do the hand as well right here. We'll save our changes. And what we're doing here with this dot symbol is it's basically giving us a way to add space between the emoji and the word without getting this Discord dash here. Because remember, if you do a space, you're gonna get a dash, a hyphen dash that just looks really ugly and throws off the whole aesthetic. So by using some of these custom symbols that have natural spacing on each side of them, like this dot symbol does, you get to be able to have natural spacing there, and it just makes it look really, really clean. So now you have an idea of what I'm doing here. I'm gonna go through and do this for the entire channel layout so you can see what the finished product will look like. Okay, so I've gone through and updated the entire channel layout with the custom symbols and everything. And as you can already see, it just looks so much more aesthetically pleasing and just really professional looking. So I think that brings us to the end of the video. I know this was a really long one. Every year it feels like it gets longer and longer. And this year I had to literally cut stuff out by making a video beforehand on the server onboarding because it's a really essential feature, but it would just make this video close to an hour long. So I had to go ahead and get that out. So as I've said multiple times in this video, everything will be linked in the description for how to set up tons of other stuff, or you can just go to my YouTube channel, browse through all my videos. There's tons of stuff where you can really flush out and finish out your Discord server. If you got all the way to the end and you still are a little stuck and not sure what to do, definitely reach out to me on Fiverr that I mentioned at the start of the video. I'd be happy to jump in, even if it's not overhauling and building the entire server. If you just need help configuring a few things and putting some finishing touches on there, I'd be happy to help you with that. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.